Now, where was I? Okay. Yes. Been doing a bunch of crazy things. And his, I almost walked past this time. Sorry. There's no way of keeping this short. That's why you have to watch. He's got like two videos, and the third one about the drop, and there's little sub videos too. So it's funny. It's worth watching. It's entertaining. Definitely entertaining. But his lawsuit, Ben's lawsuit, and his franchisees who did it by themselves on their own business, all also sued him. Right? Paperwork went through. There was some hassles, but he gets it all done, pays all the bills, everything goes through, and owner of the store, no response, no reply. Corporate, no response, no reply. Time goes by, notice is sent that, hey, we got this case going on. I gotta say something. Owner doesn't say a thing. CEO doesn't do a thing. They go to the court and say, hey, the case is open. These guys aren't showing up. And the court goes, yeah, you're right. We had a date, no show. You win by default. Ta-da! He now has a lawsuit won. Each and every one of them have a lawsuit won for $100,000 or whatever it is. And of course, she gets the news. She doesn't believe it. Tells him etc. But anyways, this suddenly start getting things to move, and they start getting some communication from the owner. Again, come to the store, we'll deal with it. He goes, well, I can't come to the store. I'm banned by the cops to come there. Unless you give me permission to come, then I can't do it. But anyhow, he goes, well, I'll call you after we get it worked out. And guy never calls. Unbelievable. So, company, be it BAM or the franchise store, owes these guys, $100,000 or whatever it is. That's going nowhere. It's being, they won by default, but no one's doing anything, and they keep going back to tell Mr. Owner here that, hey, here's all the paperwork, surrender the merchandise, or pay us $150,000, or give us our stuff back. And they go back. They do more talking. They go back. The store's closed. They go back the next day. The store's closed. They come back a little while later, and the store is closed for good. They packed up and left. Which is also very nice because the merchandise that they had or didn't have, or had some, but they only sold some, or they'll sell you what they have for $50,000 of that which we don't have. Which is funny because corporate and the Portland, but the Oregon franchise store and whatnot did TV ads or video ads for some media or another. Again, pushing that they're happy, nice people, and that come join, come play, come reserve rooms and whatnot, and showing pictures of the stolen merchandise, his merchandise. You're in the middle of a property dispute over material things that you are denying exist, or only some of them exist, or tell BS. But you then have a commercial featuring some of the stuff from his kit, and it is his stuff. Don't advertise you're a thief, man. No, hey, look what I get a clue. Get a clue. Unbelievable. Anyhow, yeah. And of course, that didn't get past Ben. He made comments about, hey, well, you made a commercial and it was featuring our stuff, and we have it, you don't have it, we've got, paperwork, the whole 9 yards. Then Ben comes up with the idea, but he has a couple other stunts, again, PDD. But, he then comes up with an idea of opening a GoFundMe to help offset costs, and so maybe the owner of the kit will, get some money for it. Anyhow. And he opened the GoFundMe under the name of, I take money from kids or from old people. And the picture is of one of the people uh, associated with Bam, which of course Bam does not like at all. So Dan and his gang of merry men were at his Airbnb. He doesn't live in Oregon or in Utah, where some of these battles are going on. Corporates in Utah, I believe. Anyways, they're all there in his Airbnb, and they're trying to figure out what we're going to do next, what's happening. They're we're getting them, we're winning, but they're stalling. Their their counter moves don't really win, but they're blocking us. So next thing they know, there's a knock at the door, and I guess you can imagine who it is. It is the police, and as you can see, they came in seriously. This was a police swatting. He got swatted. As in somebody, either the CEO or the owner of the company, one of them, called police, told them Ben has the merchandise, and he stole it. It's worth $250,000, $250,000, whatever number they used. So the cops, okay, they're going, all right, we get this. Then they get a statement of cause, which is from the Airbnb owner, manager, who happened to be walking by the window when she heard Ben saying they were planning on doing something illegal. And of course, that gets her all concerned, right? She remembers that conversation, right? Of course she did. Yeah, could you point out which window? But anyways, that's the reason for the raid, on top of, cause with the accusation of theft. So that's enough for them to, get the judge to sign off on, SWAT coming in. And again, it wasn't really SWAT, but it was, same mentality, man. These guys came in, locked and loaded. They ain't taking shit from anybody. And arrest them. Arrest them for theft. They search the Airbnb. They can't find even a single Lego piece. But that, that doesn't matter. As the guy on the end says, just shut up, stop talking. That's a cop on the very end there. One thing I do like this image here. This is, of course, let me get out of the way a little bit here. Them getting arrested. More of them being arrested. And here's a nice little shot that Ben put up in his video. Different individual cars, car cam, of all of them all lined up, handcuffed and going off to jail. As an FYI, throughout all of this, as these go, and from his production back, Ben has all the body cams from the police officers, and he has body cams he has cam work from all of his buddies. He's got cam anywhere who had a camera or could have had a camera. He got it. Anyone who has a piece of paper, he got it. There are gaps, no voices in sections of the audio for the cop. For the body badge, for the body cam. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. The city police are censoring their cops on the body cam information. Now the image is there, but sound is suddenly gone, and that's odd. And again, he had accused the police station of not being honest. That there's something going on here. Of course, going to the police station and telling them, we're not exactly honest. Yeah, okay. Yeah, pretty ballsy. But anyhow, they say, the only reason they would ever redact, delete audio is if it pertained to a minor, a victim, certain information that really wouldn't be pertinent that can be done otherwise in a court. And he's like, I'm the one, it's me and my crew, and we're all well known, and we're the ones, wanting to body cam stuff. And they weren't involved in an area or issues with kids or victims. That's them, and so why the redaction? He goes, that's the only reason why. So again, him being him and his crew took one of the cops when they were talking to each other, and they kind of blended what they had from one with what they had from the other, and almost got a full conversation out of it. Before this one got deleted, before that one got deleted, you kind of like intermix the two that they have of the two cops talking, and you can clearly hear, well, mostly hear that they don't know what to do. Do we shoot them? They didn't say that. Do they arrest him? Do we arrest him for what? Again, I mean, they're out on bond. It's a bond violation. What the hell's going on? Which is, not what you want your police to say after you arrest them for whatever cause you come up with. They didn't come up with one. And I'm not blaming the cops. Again, like I said, they're in the middle. You got these guys making claims one way, these guys making claims, and most of them coming right back at him. So cops are in the middle going, what the hell? Anyhow, as this progresses, warrants and more jails and more cops pulling them over. They manage to get. Hang on, there we go. The CEO. To have a call the CEO of BAM and let's chat. It's a webcast. You got two different hosts, not him, and not Ben, but they're gonna have the interview with him, and Ben has given them 3 questions that they want him to sneak in to answer. Catch him, do what they can. There's Ben puts a wager on it. Dangerous one, but hey. So they're interviewing him. They have reading off call-ins and whatnot, and again, it's the CEO on live. Although you do notice if you look closely, no more twisty on his mustachey. So I guess knowing he was going to be on a video, he cleaned up so he doesn't look quite like he did earlier. But he makes big comments at the beginning pertaining to legalities of he's corporate, they're franchisees, there's this, there's that. He has this whole almost like prefabbed statement from a lawyer, almost sounds like. But then they go on and they have their conversations, various softball questions and whatnot, and then they sneak in the hard point questions pertaining to. So, what's up with the $200,000 worth of Star Wars kit? Huh? Oh, that's we never we had part of it. This we've made offers to and the actual owner of the original owner of the kit. We made offers to them and they refused them. We're the good guys here. We're just trying to get this resolved also. They're the ones who are making a big scene out of it, making the YouTube show and they're refusing all of our offers. So, what can we do? That we try to be the good guy. Which of course makes, Ben shit a brick because he's like knows full well that, that why their offers were refused is because they only offering like $50,000 for stuff they may not have in full or in part. We don't know. According to them, I don't know. It really, really would have been just worth it to give it back. You didn't pay anything for it. It's on concession. The only thing you're going to do is if you sell it, you can make the money from all the kids, but you're selling stolen property, which is not a good thing to do. just saying. And you made videos of it and put them on commercials of it, put it on TV. So anyhow, so Ben knows that was a lie. This guy's a partial lie. They did make offers, but they were ridiculous offers. Again, like the 50 for 250 thing, and other similar. Just let's come in and write an apology note, and everything will be good, and then we'll start going from it, and etc. They did try that. They did do that, and he didn't go with it. There were other questions pertaining to items on concession, and he then points out that no, we don't do concessions. That if a franchise owner does that's a violation. We deal with our legal merchandise. We have our toys and our play area and stuff, but that's all our stuff. We don't do concessions. It leaves too many headaches. And now Ben's like shitting bricks over there because he knows full well, yes they do. It's in the contract. Other stores say yes we do. So here he is lying openly on the podcast about the legal angles of the corporation. Then he goes on and makes some other comment, which also just explodes Ben on how dare he actually say this stuff live. But they got him saying it live. I have a funny feeling if the lawyer was watching, he's probably going, I told you that. When a lawyer tells you to shut up, shut up. So the merchandise they do or do not have part of, sold, didn't sell, tried to make videos of it and deny it's there, etc. CEO makes blunders in live interviews. And of course, Ben has all these conversations. So anyone, when he says this, they can play it right back in his face. And they had spy watches and spy glasses and spy. And he's got all the video, plus all the the body cams from the cops and whatnot. So he basically on this one, Ben got him on a 1-up again. So it's they've been kind of doing that game. And it's escalating, and now it's way up there. And things go quiet for a little bit, and then David gets a very powerful letter. Apparently, Bam, Bricks and Minifigs, the corporate officer, Mr. Pistachio, went to one of the very biggest legal firms. We're talking big legal firms. Known nationally, big legal firms. Who are definitely going to cost him more having those guys as a lawyer than the value of the kid. But now he's pushing it further. And he's got this, letter, all kinds of statements in it, legalese in it. I'm not going to go into it, but, he big fancy ass letter from a big company. There's some issues in the letter, in the wording of the letter, but we'll leave that for later or other episodes of people who can go into it. There are some things in there where it kind of sounds like they forgot about this. Something founding fathers thought was of some level of importance, and the First Amendment. So And part of the things they wanted to do is, no longer talk about this issue, no longer text about it, not in blogs, not online, not, anywhere. Take all of this stuff down and, go away. We're not paying you. We keep the merchandise, the alleged merchandise, whether it's there or. Of course, the owner of this isn't too happy. He's now literally having anxiety attacks from all this because it's just, it's just escalated to be beyond the realm of sanity. But also in that letter, it pointed out, and I forget the legal term for it, but it means they can go with this letter to a judge without letting Ben know, have the judge sign off on it, and then Ben's responsible for it. It's legal. It's legal. So, don't know how it's legal, but anyhow, big company like that. Big company like that. Ben had better lawyer up using, lots of testimonies and court cases going on down. That's why I put these little guys in here. Yeah, all the things in the show. You just got to see it. But as it ends, or as things are right now, he's got this big ass letter from big ass corporate. I almost forgot. This issue with the police and Ben and his crew, and they're constantly getting arrested, constantly being followed by cops, constantly, getting, hassled by cops, and his, wanting all the body cam stuff and actually, making comments about how he thinks the cops are doing up to something. They're protecting thieves. There's a religious angle popping in here. I'm not going to go into that. We'll leave that off the table, but, that's a possibility. Of, club in stuff, but we'll just leave it there. But anyhow, he accused him of not being honest and wanted all the full versions of all the tapes and, not getting it shut. So, the freaking chief of police, 5 stars, right? Which I think is ridiculous. Okay, you want to be paramilitary kind of a thing, but you're chief of police, okay, fine. They're fucking 5 stars. Even in the army, we only have 5 stars when we're at World War. Then you have a general of all armies. President, general of all armies. And that was Dwight D. Eisenhower. The only one who had it. And we don't have him after that. So you having 5 stars is like, cut the ego. Okay, a star. You're the, you're the general in charge. You're the captain of all the police stations already in your district, and you're the boss. Okay, a star. Other guys are captains and lieutenants and whatnot. So, you can have get the cloverleaf out and have captains that way, or majors, colonels, lieutenant colonels. But 5 stars? Come on. Well, it looks pretty with all your stuff on it. Anyways, he comes on and does a public announcement describing everything that's happened, what's going on, and gives the police version of events, which isn't true. Some of the events are not true. And, of course, Ben has all the video footage of it. So you have the chief of police up there saying, this happened, and this is the result of this, and these guys are harassing these guys, and the police are doing everything they can, but we're stuck in the middle here. But you got the chief of police to get on TV. And this is, I didn't edit out. This is how they shot it. I think they were going to do a green screen and, forgot to, and turn on the green or whatever. I think it's, but anyhow, it was recorded very, very low, hard to hear. And anyway, it looks kind of creepy. But he's out there in public saying, hey, this didn't happen, or this did happen because of, X, but it really happened because of Y. But, Unbelievable. The chief of police. Where's this? Canton, Massachusetts. Anyhow, Ben's got to get himself, a really damn good lawyer because he's up against a very, very, very big company. These are the companies that have their names on buildings. There's not little plaques. It's names on buildings. This building is our building, police or law firms. So, yeah, Ben has spent a hell of a lot of money doing all this stuff. He did have the GoFundMe. There it is. The GoFundMe for additional funding, but that was intended to go back him up in case things didn't go right. So he has that problem. Now he has trouble getting a lawyer. Plus, a lawyer comes up and says, "Hey, what's the case?" And Ben explains it to him, and he goes, "Okay, who are we up against?" And he goes, "These guys." And they're like, "Oh, enjoy your day. I'm not wasting my time going up against those guys. It's going to cost way too much money. Not going to do it." So, that's lawyers won't do it. It's going to cost a whole lot of money. No one wants to go up against these big boys. Cash is the problem, of course, but allegedly, now I don't know if this is true or not. Again, this is just in the scuttlebutt online is I'm forgetting his name or his online name. Something Oz at the end or Oz on the end. Anyhow, he's big bucks. He's made he's worth like over $18 million. He's a podcaster. He does all of his stuff, but he's made so much money he doesn't take money anymore from other people watching. Rumor has it he is allegedly upset about all of this himself, and is offering financial assistance for Ben to get things done for the owner of this 250 or 200 or 100 to $150,000 Star Wars kit. That's where it is as far as I know. And there's much more. And again, these events and the pictures I used are not in actual sequence. I just took the ones I kind of liked. Some of them are, but I just again clipped them from Reckless Ben's broadcast. So I don't own any of these. He does. I just clipped them, put them in here. Just it works best that way. Well, it's his story. Hey, go to him. It's his stuff. I'm just using it. Don't come after me. Actually, one thing which would fit with all of this is for background music. We have yakety sax going off, which if you're not familiar with it, well, you are familiar with it. It's the Benny Hill theme song. So you've heard it, it, and that would fit in here because how everything's going. It's an earworm, so be careful on that. Yeah, Ben's in the middle of this, and he brought himself into it. I'm just wanting to be the good Samaritan, which most Samaritans were not good. They were pretty mean, pretty nasty dudes. And one Samaritan did a kind act, and that hence the good Samaritan story. Why do you say that? Because my God, this barbarian actually did something kind. But anyhow, he's doing it as a to help this guy out. Now he's in big time deep shit. Make him out on top. I mean, there's some things in the letter that Mr. The big guys wrote. The one that said they can they got signed off by the judge and they can execute it anytime without telling Ben about what now he has to do anything. If he doesn't do it, he's in violation of the court order. So it's kind of hard to be in violation of a court order if you've never been handed or been aware of the order, but you're supposed to. I guess in that sense, they, I guess being psychic is legal in that version. That, anyways, that drafting that one document. I mean, I don't know how many pages it was. What did they say? 43 pages. It wasn't just a single one. I mean, it was, legalese up the ass, which they do, but especially when you get paid by the hour. You something you can get done in 2 or 3 pages, you do it 43, and this probably cost them uh, the owner, the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs, just to have this letter and this level of help from this big ass firm. Probably cost him, easy $5, $6, $7,000 just for that. And if he's has them on retainer or they're going to be representing him, that's going to be more than the kit's worth. And nothing flat. A couple hours of these guys' bill, and you're now running your ship aground and pushing it even further up the beach. So again, it's a one up, but then it's, or maybe I should say, it's a going down. They're going deeper and deeper and deeper into the muck and mire and whatnot and confusion and who knows. But watch the video. He's got several of them. Again, it's on YouTube. At Reckless Ben. All I have to do is type in Lego, Bam, Star Wars, things along those lines. It'll pop right up. And look for Reckless Ben. I'll say, here's a link right here for you. That'll take you right to his page, so you can do what you need to do. At least there's the address anyhow. I don't think the link's gonna work. It works for me, but once I push this out, the leak might probably drop off, more than likely. But, well, stay tuned. Go watch his videos. If a lawyer tells you to shut up, shut up. Well, I'll say now, or maybe I won't say now, or maybe I did say now, or maybe only partially said now. Saddles, guys. You take care out there.